Hello and welcome to another Thanksgiving edition of Nathan Builds Robots. Today I'm going to be going over all my favorite stuff. I mean, it's not necessarily going to be 3D printers, but if you're interested in 3D printers, feel free to check out my video that I made, Best Printers of 2023 plus Black Friday Deals. That's going to be going over all my favorite printer recommendations for a number of different categories. Today is going to be more like Nathan's favorite things. I mean, it's like Oprah's favorite things, but it's going to be stuff that I like instead. And I think it's going to be a good gift guide if you're buying something for yourself or your family or, anyone special in your life. So let's get right into the deals. Now, the frustrating thing about this is that I look up all the items that I've bought in the last year and the stuff that I really enjoy and use every day, and I get to see how much I could have saved if I would have waited till Black Friday to buy it. So my loss is your gain, but we're going to go over some pretty cool stuff. Everything from watches to the type of gear that I use to film and edit my YouTube videos. And we're going to start with watches. So I'm wearing one right now, and I've got another one that I really like, and they're all on sale this Black Friday. Now, I, like many other people, have struggled with time management, and I was like, man, if only there was a way to keep track of time. Well, fortunately, they invented something a couple hundred years ago called a watch, and it lets you figure out what time it is. Right now I'm wearing a Casio watch. They call this the Casio Duro. What I like about this watch is it's like extremely waterproof, so you can literally go diving with this, and it's good down to 2,000 meters. So very water resistant. You can leave it on in the shower or if you're doing water sports. And right now it's on sale with this coupon for under $45. What I like about this watch is it's just really durable. Bill Gates actually wears this watch, so if it's good enough for a billionaire, it's good enough for me. It comes in a couple different colors here. I just went with the black and silver because that goes with the most outfits. Now let's go over to my other favorite watch. This one I actually wear more often. And I recently went to Formnext in Germany, and this was a very useful watch to have. It's got a bunch of different time zones. You can just press a button and it changes the time zones, so let me just demonstrate that here. Right now I've got my local time, and I can just push buttons and it alternates between different times in the world. And it has a little global map here, and it lights up what time zone that you're in. So right there. Now other watches have a similar functionality where they'll tell you the world time, but this one has a nice little map that highlights the region that you're looking at. So it's a lot less ambiguous and a lot harder to get confused as to what time zone you're taking a look at. So for me, when I'm traveling, if I go to a new area, I can just reprogram it to recognize where I'm at, and it'll give me the accurate time. Also, I can toggle between different time zones. So a lot of 3D printer companies are in China, and I can just press a couple buttons and see what the time is in China, so I know whether or not I can expect an email response within a day. Same goes for Europe and East Coast, West Coast, wherever you happen to want to know where the time is, this can help you out. It also has a built-in LED so you can read it in the dark, and this metal band is kind of classy, so I mean, you can wear it with a casual outfit or something a little bit fancier. This basically has every function that you could want in a watch. You can set timers, alarms, you can turn on the stopwatch, see what time it is in other places. There's just a lot of fun stuff to be enjoyed here. As it says here, it's got a 10-year battery life and 1,000 meters of water resistance, so you basically don't have to worry about this getting damaged by water. For just everyday stuff, washing your hands, doing the dishes, it'll be just fine. Now you could say you can just set a timer with your smartphone, but I find that every time I pull my phone out and take a look at it to check the time, I'm like, well, how's my YouTube channel doing? Let me check my emails. And before you know it, you've wasted 10 to 15 minutes just messing around on your phone. With a watch, it lets you stay a little bit more concentrated and it lets me get more done. Also, if you're into modding, I know we've got a lot of Ender 3 modders in the house. You can mod these watches, so people will take them apart and change parts of it and like replace the band or get a different front screen on there. So a lot of fun stuff you can do. And I've actually done one mod to this watch already. You can notice it's got some extra text on the top and bottom in this little graphic here. But I've actually erased those off just to give it a little bit of a cleaner and more classy look. It's just really fun to have, and I would highly recommend getting one. Now it's on sale for $25, so I think it's a pretty good time to pick one up if you're interested in getting a multifunction watch. Alright, and I guess we've got a couple more watches here. This one's pretty fun. It's more of a military style watch. It's really lightweight, good for wearing if you're going on a workout or something, but overall very light and easy to wear. Next up, we have the Anker power bank. This is the Anker 737 power bank. I paid near the full price of like $150 for this thing. Right now it's on sale for $92, which is a screamin' deal. The nice thing about this is it's basically the largest size that you can legally carry onto an airplane. It's near 100 watt hours. And also this thing has an insane power input and output. So say for instance I want to charge up my laptop, it can deliver 140 watts to my laptop and basically charge it up in under an hour. The other thing is it fast charges too, so you can charge it at a rate of 140 watts. At that speed, you're basically getting a full battery in under an hour. I actually use it when I go and film on location. I just plug this into my camera and I can film for 8 hours straight with this setup. So it's extremely useful, whether you're charging up your phone, powering accessories, or anything else like that. This is a really good device to have. Alright, next up we've got some Anker wall chargers, and it's using this special gallium type semiconductor. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but it allows them to make these things really small. So these are basically pocketable, and this one has 3 different charge ports, so you can charge up a laptop. If you have USB-A type ports, you can plug it in there. Just a really handy device to bring with you if you're going on a trip. And also, I really like these Anker power cords. This one is just the black one, but you can get them in all sorts of different pastel colors. What I really like about these is you can see they've got this anodized aluminum insert, and that just makes them a lot stronger. I break a lot of USB-C cords, but these ones have lasted for over a year now, and they're holding up well because they're reinforced like that. These also support really fast charging speeds. If you need like 200 watts or faster data transfer, you can get a different type of cable. But overall, I would really recommend these Anker products because they're just really high quality. This too is on sale. I paid, I think, $20 each for my cables. Now they're on sale for $14, so that's a screaming deal. Next up, I've actually bought some of these to use on my robotics and electronics projects. These are called USB-C power delivery trigger boards. So basically, you plug one end of your USB-C plug into a power source, whether that's the Anker power bank or some kind of wall plug, and this will negotiate the signal and provide a specific voltage for your electronic project to run off of. So these come pre-configured as 20 volt, 5 volt, 9 volt, all sorts of different voltages. And the cool thing about the power delivery standard is it just delivers the voltage that you need, so you don't need to have step up or step down converters. I actually tried to run a 3D printer on one of these, and I got the stepper motors moving, but when the heating elements turned on, it was too much power draw and it shut off. Hypothetically, there should be a way to convert a low power consuming 3D printer to run off of USB-C power. If you want to try that out, these kind of trigger boards will be useful. These are really versatile because you can solder together different combinations of these little pads, and it will change the microprocessor on this little board so that it outputs a different voltage. You can just buy half a dozen of these, and when you need a 12 volt source, you can just solder those pins together. If you need 5 volts for low power electronics, you can solder those pins together. So it's just a really useful device, and it's great for little electronics projects. I mean, the buck and boost converters that I've had to use on a lot of my previous projects take up a lot of space, and they're kind of expensive. So having something like this that just makes a universal power solution for any type of electronics is really useful. You could even retrofit some of your existing electronics, like let's say it runs off of a micro USB port. You could retrofit it to using a USB Type-C port by plugging one of these in and embedding it into the product. That's probably a little more involved than most people want to do, but it's something that, I've considered doing for my products in the past. Alright, so next up we're getting into some content creation stuff. I just picked up some of these Audio-Technica M40X studio monitor headphones. These are widely considered to be some of the best headphones for under $100 for studio monitoring. You can also use them for video games, so like if you're playing a first-person shooter game, you want to hear where the footsteps are coming from. These are really good at pinpointing exactly where the noises are coming from, because they have excellent isolation between the left and right earphones, and they just produce a really high-quality sound output. These ones also come with a bunch of additional features, like you can fold them up for travel, and the audio signal cables are removable, so you can switch between having this long, flat cord, or you can use this one with a little scrunchie. And this is handy if you're doing audio monitoring on site. Let's say you're carrying your camera around. You don't want this long, dangly cord hanging around where it could get caught on things, so this little scrunchie is really nice. You can get similar headphones to this for around $50, But all the additional features and the high sound quality you get out of these Audio-Technica headphones I think is definitely worth the cost. Especially given that the most common way for headphones to die is for the cord to go bad. And if you have a fixed cable that goes into the headphones, you can't easily replace that. But with these bayonet style plugs, you can just unplug the broken cord, put a new one in there, and get another 5 to 10 years out of your headphones. So these are a really good investment. Also, if you're into modding, all the modders in the house will appreciate that you can change these ear cups out. So you can buy like calf hide or sheepskin different ear cups to make them more comfortable for longer wearing sessions. I find that the stock pads are good enough for me, and I just use them for a lot of stuff. Now, I don't usually see these on sale, but right now they're on sale for $79, which is quite a bit cheaper than their normal MSRP of around $100. So if you're planning on getting some headphones anytime soon, or you have someone in your life that could appreciate some nice headphones, this would be a good gift for them. Next up are the AirPods Pro. Now they're on sale for $190. And these have excellent noise canceling. A typical use case for these is like if you're working out, you can just pair them to your phone and listen to music while you're going on a run or whatever. Or if you don't want to bother the people next to you with the noise of the media that you're listening to. Let's say you're listening to some Nathan Builds Robots videos and the guy next to you can't stand me. Well, you can put some of these in and you'll be able to get nice clean audio and have noise canceling so you can cancel out those haters' voices. The best use case for these, in my opinion, is when you're traveling. Let's say you're on a bus or a train or a plane. You can listen to whatever music you like. And for me, I actually edited a couple videos while I was on the plane from Frankfurt back to the United States. Just plugging these in lets me cut out the airplane noise and lets me edit my videos together really easily. The best thing about these is they take up basically no space, so you can just put these in your pocket. They're smaller than a wallet, they're smaller than your phone, they're just really don't take up a lot of space, and they have a lot of great features. So Apple has really set the gold standard for these type of wireless earbuds, and I really enjoy using mine. Alright, next up is for audio. So this is the DJI mic. It's a wireless lav mic. So when I was first making content, I had a lot of issues with my audio quality not being very good. But the closer you get the mic to the voice, the better the sound quality is. So I clip one of these on when I'm doing my YouTube videos and I plug it into my camera, and I get really clean audio that way. These are really full featured. I paid over $300 for these and now they're on sale for $250, so that's a great deal. Some additional features that these have that is really convenient is you got the little wind muffs, so if you're in a windy location you can cut that out and still get clean audio. It comes with a travel case, and the travel case itself has a battery in it. So you can just plug these in. So just by putting these devices away, they automatically start charging. And they've just really thought out the ease of use and quality of life features that you'd want in a product like this. And I think they do a great job with it. So basically, when you have this case closed, it's just charging the little devices in there. As soon as you open up the case, all of the mics and receivers turn on, so that you're never having to worry about, oh, did I turn that mic on? Did I forget to turn that one on? It just automatically turns on for you, and then you attach it to your equipment and start recording. So it's just a really trouble-free experience. And these things are just loaded with features, I mean, more than I can get into in this video. The last thing I want to mention about these is it comes with a little USB-C adapter and a lightning port adapter. So whether you're using an iPhone or a Samsung device or, an Android device, you can plug this directly into your phone and get really high quality audio out of your recordings. And for like a basic content creator, let's say you're just filming on your phone, which is a perfectly acceptable way to do things, you can just plug the receiver into your phone and get really high quality audio. And that's one of the major things with making good content, is having good audio. But again, this is a really great price for this. I don't think I've seen them any cheaper than this. And if you want to save a little bit of money, you can just get the one mic and one receiver combo. That's going to be a much more basic setup. It doesn't come with the carrying case, but if you're on a budget, that could make more sense to you. Personally, I would definitely recommend getting the combo set with the 2 mics and the carrying case, because that's just super useful. You get 4 to 6 hours of battery life out of these things. So when I go in and do a day of filming, I never have to worry about battery life. And if I do have an issue with battery life, I just plug them back in. They charge up super fast, and the carrying case itself says 15 hours of battery life. So these are just super useful. And if I'm filming in a loud environment, let's say I'm doing a factory tour or talking at a conference, it's super loud in those environments. And having those lav mics really helps quiet down the audio and gives you a really good signal to be able to edit with. And if you're doing an interview style video, having it so you can put one on yourself and put one on your subject that you're talking to, it just works out really well and you get really great quality audio. So I can't say enough good things about this. I actually used the Rode Video Mic Go before this, and I didn't really like it because it doesn't come with the carrying case, so I always had issues with not turning my mic on and then recording a 60-minute session with no audio, and it just makes me want to destroy things. Having this, where it's all set up and easy to use, is definitely worth the premium, and in this case it's really not that much more expensive to get this set up. Alright, next up for audio is the Blue Yeti USB microphone. That's what I'm using right now for my recording. Here you can see it. I also use that in the podcast that I record with Guy from Guy's Shop and JJ Schenkels. That's the Perfect First Layer podcast. It's a 3D printing based podcast. We have a lot of fun there. If you want to go check it out, I'll leave a link in the description below. But like every other gadget this season, it's also on sale. So if you want to start doing some podcasts or getting higher quality audio on your laptop, this is a great way to do it. Also, when I use this when I'm playing video games, I'll talk to people and they'll be like, "Are you a Twitch streamer?" Just because the audio quality is so high, they just associate that with kind of a more professional person. And I guess I am a professional. I'll take that title. I'm not saying this has the best audio quality. I mean, there's probably some audiophiles out there that are like, "Oh, the Blue Yeti mics suck." I've heard that opinion voiced many times. But the truth is that this is one of the most solid options, and everybody knows it. It works really well, and it's good enough for most people. Anyways, I've been getting really good results out of this Blue Yeti microphone. Next up, we have the iPhone 15 Pro. If you want to get into content creation, it's really nice to have an iPhone because they have some of the best video quality and image stabilization on the market. I know there's Android users that'll probably disagree with me, but I've been having really good luck with my iPhone. It's just a really hassle-free device and it lets me get my job done, so I can't complain. There's been a couple of videos that I've filmed and edited completely on my iPhone, and you probably haven't really noticed just because the video quality is good enough for most applications in most cases. You can record 4K 60 on this thing, and the video quality in low light situations is actually very good. I have no idea how they're able to get such good video quality out of this thing when you're dealing with really low light situations. There must be a bunch of computational stuff going on to figure out how to interpret some dark noisy signal and turn it into clean video. But I think the iPhone does a really good job at this, especially if you're making short form content and filming vertical videos. This is the best way to do it. There's really not much reason to film shorts on a camera like this because with the iPhone it's just so much more convenient. You just edit it and upload it and it takes a couple minutes versus something like this is going to take probably half an hour to an hour minimum. This is just an all-in-one device for content creation, so if you're looking to get started, just get some kind of iPhone. Even as old as the iPhone 12, I think has great video quality, and you can get those for much cheaper. I think I've seen them on sale for around $500. Here's an older iPhone that's unlocked. You can get it for $439. So something like this would be really useful if you wanted to get started with content creation. It's got a camera, it's got a fast enough processor to do video editing, and you can directly upload your content using your iPhone. And if you want to step up your video quality, you can get something like this. This is actually the camera that I use for basically all of my videos. This is the A7 IV full-frame mirrorless camera. This bad boy right here. It's got a lot of really great features for taking photos and video. I've taken some stunning pictures with this thing. I know I don't talk about my photography very much on this channel, but you can get really great results with this. It takes 34 megapixel stills, so that's extremely high resolution. It's got in-body image stabilization, a bunch of video-centric features. It can film 4K 60, but most of my content I film in 4K 30, and it's a really high-quality 4K 30, so when I have to crop in and zoom into something in my frame, let's say I'm filming a 3D printer and then something stupid happens in the corner of the screen, I can just zoom in on that and it retains really excellent video quality. So that's the biggest advantage of filming and editing in 4K is that you can crop in and still get great image quality. It has a bunch of advanced autofocus features. It's probably one of the best autofocus systems on the market. Yeah, I've just been really happy with this camera. I could go into all of the features that I enjoy about it, but I feel like that would be kind of outside my area of expertise. There's camera reviewers on YouTube where you can check out some reviews on this thing. But yeah, I really enjoy using this camera. It makes some great videos. And it's on sale, so I paid, $2,500 plus tax for mine. Now it's on sale for just under $2,300. They don't go on sale very often, so something like this is a pretty good deal. And if you're getting a full-frame mirrorless camera, you're going to need a full-frame mirrorless lens. So you usually buy the camera and lens separately. You can get the camera bundled with a kit lens, but those are usually pretty low quality. I mean, they're good enough for video. Video really doesn't have that high of lens quality requirements, but having something like this just helps you get even better video quality. So my primary lens for the last year plus has been the Sigma 24-70 f2.8. It's a really great standard zoom lens. You can get really up close to subjects, and you've got a great useful zoom range. So my only complaint with this lens is it's kind of heavy, and when I'm filming videos in tight spaces, sometimes I want to be able to zoom out a little bit more. But overall, this gets really excellent video. The autofocus is super fast. It has great contrast and sharpness. Just an excellent lens. Also, the build quality on these Sigma art lenses is insane. If you put it side by side with any lens that I've handled, the Sigma always just feels better. These focus rings and zoom rings are just buttery smooth, and it just demonstrates a level of mechanical excellence that I appreciate. Alright, and then let's get to this next lens. This is actually, oh man, I just bought this and it's already cheaper than what I paid for it. Literally 3 days ago. Oh man, these Black Friday deals are getting out of control. Well anyways, I paid $6.99 for this, but apparently it's on sale now. Anyways, what's nice about this lens is it's got a really wide zoom range, so you can zoom out super far and get an ultra-wide field of view, which is useful for a lot of reasons, especially if you're filming in tight spaces or want to capture like a really wide landscape. This is great for that, and it zooms all the way into 50 millimeters, which is a really useful zoom range for video. Some people might complain that this has an f4 aperture. That's basically a photography nerd thing. Basically, you want to have the f number be as low as possible so you can get really blurry backgrounds and really high quality low light performance. But when you're doing video, I always film in f4 or above, just because for photos, you spend a lot of time contemplating, oh, what do I want to be in focus? And I want the background to be all nice and blurry. But for video, you generally want more stuff in focus so that the people watching the video can actually see what's going on. So I'll always stop down to f4. If I'm in an unpredictable environment, I'll step down even lower than that. I'll have it set to like f7 or f11, just so that everything's in focus and I don't have an issue where it's focusing on the wrong thing and when I go to edit, everything's all blurry. Also, when you're filming, if you set everything up properly, you should be using a slower exposure speed. So having that really wide aperture doesn't matter because you're usually dealing with 1/50th of a second frame rates or 1/60th of a second. There's a whole videography nerd angle here that I'm not really going to get into, but basically for video, having this f4 aperture is plenty good enough. Also, this is a constant aperture lens, so when you zoom in and out, it doesn't change brightnesses. That's something you'll see in cheaper lenses. When you zoom in, the image gets darker and then the camera has to compensate for it. And it just kind of has a cheap look when you see that. It's not that big of a deal for most people, but if you're making YouTube videos professionally, I think having that constant aperture is really important. So you can zoom in on things and you don't have to worry about recalibrating your settings. So yeah, I've been using this camera for the last couple of days, and I've been really happy with it, and I'm going to start using it to film my normal content too, just because it's lighter, it's got great build quality, and all that kind of stuff. Some people might disagree with me, but I always recommend using a UV filter, which is like a clear piece of glass that goes on the front of the lens. I'll leave a link to the UV filters that I usually buy. I like to get somewhat higher quality ones just so that I don't have as much issues with glare. They put special anti-reflective coatings and anti-stick coatings so that you don't get dust building up on the lenses easily. It does degrade the image quality a little bit, but for me, it's an acceptable trade-off because I kind of work in a chaotic environment. I'll be grinding things, burning things, things will be flying around. And having that extra layer of protection on here really makes sense. There was a point in time where I didn't use UV filters because, I was listening to people that said, oh, you don't need to worry about protecting the front of your lens. Just put the lens hood on and everything's going to be fine. And then I got like a splash of grease or something that I was working on or solder. It stuck to the lens, and when I cleaned it off, it damaged the coating on the lens. Versus if I had one of these filters on here, if it got damaged sufficiently, I could just remove it and replace it with a new one, instead of having to replace a $600 or $700 lens. So yeah, that's my lens and camera advice for you. I mean, there's other manufacturers, but I'm kind of a Sony loyalist at this time because they just produce a really solid product that's been reliable for me, so I'm very happy to stick with them. Next up, we have the PhotoPro AirCross 3. I just ordered one of these in a different variant. Oh man, Everything's going on sale right as I'm buying it. That's frustrating. Okay, I might have to return the one that I just ordered and repurchase it at this lower price. These are really cool tripods. They have this special design where you only have to twist one control surface at the bottom, and then you can pull the whole thing apart. For extending and retracting the tripod legs, that's really convenient. Normally you have like 5 latches that you need to undo, then you extend the leg and then you latch all 5 of them, and you have to do that for all 3 legs, so it's just a lot of operations and time. This one is super fast because you just twist one piece, pull it out, and twist it shut, and you can get this tripod set up in a couple of seconds, which is much faster than any of the other solutions that I've seen on the market. Also, this thing is extremely light, and it's made out of carbon fiber, so it's a lot sturdier. If you have a wobbly tripod, that can be okay for some situations, but generally you want a sturdy tripod. If you move the camera and then it wobbles for a couple seconds afterwards, it just kind of looks low quality and I don't like it. So yeah, PhotoPro X Aircross 3. I'll get mine in the mail soon and check it out in person, but from all the reviews I've seen of it, it seems to be an excellent little tripod. Alright, next up, 3M Dual Lock Reclosable Fasteners. This is basically Velcro that you can tape to all sorts of things. You can see I've got a little piece of it up here on my camera, and on my power bank and on my tripods I have little pieces of Velcro on there. So basically, if I'm moving around, I can Velcro my power supply to the tripod. So I can move it, get set up, and everything's continuously powered, whether I'm on one side of the office or the other side of the office, or at a conference. The power source is always going to be right there on the tripod, so that as long as I'm set up and filming, I've got juice going to my camera. These can be used for all sorts of things. I have a little piece of Velcro on my audio equipment, on my power supplies, on my power banks. It's just really nice to be able to stick things together and hold them somewhat reliably. I mean, in terms of use cases, you can use this for anything. I just find a lot of uses for it with my camera stuff. But maybe you could find a way to use this on your 3D printer. And next up we have another tripod recommendation. So I have a video tripod. I'm not super happy with it, and this one seems to have some really nice features. So just like the other tripod that I was recommending, all you have to do is undo one latch at the top, and that loosens up the whole leg instead of having a multi-stage latch system. This tripod's from SmallRig. It's called the AD80 Free Blazer, and this is going to be a really good video tripod. Video tripods tend to be a lot more sturdy, and they have a fluid head, which allows you to pan and tilt the camera without it being shaky. So you can do a smooth transition from one subject to another, and it's just really useful from a video production standpoint. They're super sturdy, so you don't have to worry about them falling over as much, whereas lighter tripods might tip over more easily, whether if that's from the wind or someone accidentally kicking it. This will hold up much better over time. SmallRig makes really high quality stuff. Again, my older video tripod, I'm not super happy with it because there's parts falling off of it already, but I think something like this from SmallRig would last a little bit better. And the next important part about filming videos is to have high quality lighting. So this is the Zhiyun 5-Ray M40. The 40 stands for the number of watts that's output by this LED cob array. This thing is incredibly bright. I'm actually using it to light the kitchen at this Airbnb I'm at because it's kind of dim in there. This can substitute for room lighting. You can light an entire room with it, and I find uses for this thing all the time. It's a really good deal, $80. It can run off battery power, or you can plug it into a USB-C power supply and run it off with a power bank. And you can also change the color temperature here so you can match whatever lighting that you're dealing with. So yeah, I really like this thing. It goes from super dim to incredibly bright, like almost blindingly bright. The other use case I found for this is when I drop something on the floor. Normally you get like a flashlight out, or you get your phone out with the little LED on your phone camera. I find this is much better at being able to find those missing screws on the floor because it just blasts the whole area with light. I drop a lot of stuff on the floor, so being able to find these little fasteners in the carpet is just much easier with something like this. You just overkill light the whole area and it's like, oh, there it is. So, a common gift for Christmas is to get someone a flashlight. I say just go straight for this incredible overkill light. It's a lot more fun than a flashlight, if you ask me. And it's useful for producing video, so it's a win-win. Alright, next up is the Vivor LED Grow Light. This is kind of a strange item. You can use it to grow things, whether those are like vegetables or... I use it to grow my YouTube channel. It's actually the primary light when I'm filming in my studio. There is some issues if you turn this down to 25% or 50%. It actually pulses the light on and off, and that can mess with your video quality. But when I'm using this, I just turn it up to 100% and the light stays on 100% of the time, and there's no issues with banding or anything like that. The light that comes off of this panel is surprisingly high quality. Like, I've been using it for all my videos and I find I get great footage with it. The other thing about it is it's way cheaper than like professional video lights. For the amount of light output you're getting from this thing, I'm not sure exactly what it is. Let's see. Yeah, you can see they're growing vegetables in here. For some reason it doesn't say what the power rating is. I'm not sure what the power rating is. It might be 281 watts. In any case, it's more than enough light for anything that you need to do, whether that's filming or, growing things. Great little product. I really enjoy using this, and I really like kind of hacking things together and using things that are a budget solution but produce high quality results. This is a great example of that. Alright, next thing I want to show you is this Amran aperture light. These are really high quality lights. They can produce any color of the rainbow. They can be bright or dark. And I think this one can run off of battery power as well. However, I prefer the Xeon light just because I find quantity of light is more important than quality. This might produce a little bit higher quality of light, and you can do things like have red or blue lighting. But for me personally, I just like the overkill massive amount of light. This one's going to be a lot lower output. I'm not sure how many watts it is, but it says it has a 15-hour battery life, which means it can't be really putting out that much light. I don't know the exact numbers here, but I imagine this is probably going to be like a tenth as bright as that other light that I was recommending, the Xeon M40 or whatever. But if you're doing a more high quality production and you want like little accent lights all over the place, these ones are apparently pretty handy. It has little magnets on the back so you can stick it to steel objects. Pretty versatile little light there. For me personally, I don't have a whole lot of use for it, but if you're someone like Mandic really and you've got all sorts of different colored lights in your background, then you might like something like this. Alright, next up is some productivity aids. So this is a Logitech MX Master mouse. This is a really high quality wireless mouse. I'll use one of these or a similar gaming mouse when I'm using a Windows laptop. Right now I'm using a MacBook and I find that the touchpad on this thing is so good that I don't need external accessories to get the job done. But if you're using a laptop or computer that doesn't have a very good touchpad on it, something like this is really handy. These are just really high quality mice, and I find I'm more productive when I use a high quality mouse, just because I spend less time trying to click on things. I mean, you think if you go from taking 2 seconds to click on something to taking 1.5 seconds to clicking on something, and you're doing a lot of clicking, let's say you're doing video editing or CAD modeling, having a really high quality mouse just speeds up your whole workflow, and it's just that cumulative benefit. It just makes your life easier and makes CAD modeling more fun. So yeah, I really think it's worth investing in productivity aids because that just makes you feel better. You can get the same job done faster, you can get more done in the same amount of time. So it's just it's like a panna cotta of productivity, having a good mouse. Related to mice, you also have keyboards. I have a mechanical keyboard. I like the brown switches personally, so I think this one has the brown switches. I'll leave a link to this one. I find that most keyboards are very high quality. I bought a bunch of keyboards at one point in time and they all seemed fine. I returned the ones that I didn't want to keep. The actual switches inside of these keyboards are very reliable. There's not a lot of variance from brand to brand because they're all using the same switches under the hood. They just have different styling choices. Some people like the blue switches, which are super clicky, and I find those have the most variance from higher quality to lower quality, but brown switches tend to be pretty consistent across the board, and those are the best for general purpose usage. And speaking of productivity aids, we got to talk about FlexiSpot desks. So they actually sponsored a video a while ago, and I was really impressed with the product, like no shilling intended. It's just a really nice high quality desk, especially for the price that this comes at. I bought a desk from another brand previously, and it was much more expensive. It was like $500 or $600 for a similarly sized desk, and I found it was lower quality and more wobbly. These FlexiSpot desks are offering the best value and quality to price ratio. They're just excellent products, and I know they're going a little crazy with the marketing and sponsoring random weird YouTube videos, but they're genuinely a good product behind it, so it's worth picking one of these up. I mean, apply this coupon and then you're getting a nice sit-stand desk for $230. That's a great deal. Right now I'm at an Airbnb and I've got this old desk here with this old chair, and it's causing me to hunch over, and this isn't great for working at long periods of time. So having that flexibility is really nice. Also, if you're filming YouTube videos, having the adjustable height desk, like when I'm putting my 3D printers up on the desk, is super nice. I can lower it all the way, put the heavy cheaty tech printer on the desk and raise it back up so I don't have to strain my back as much. Just being able to get the desk to the correct height to be able to film it well, that's just super handy. Even Marquise Brownlee, the tech YouTube god himself, will actually use a sit-stand desk for a lot of his high-quality shots that he does, like when he wants to zoom in on a product sitting on a table. He'll just set the thing on the sit-stand desk, lower it down, put the camera over it looking straight down, and raise the desk up, and it produces this really nice high-quality look. So these desks are super useful for a lot of reasons, and I would highly recommend getting one if you spend a lot of time at a desk. Next up, we have the most essential thing for running my YouTube channel, and that's my MacBook. Now, I have a MacBook Pro. Let's just go check out what the MacBook Pro pricing is. I wouldn't recommend getting anything with less than 1 terabyte of storage. My laptop is a 1 terabyte model, and I wish I had 2 or 4. But man, Mac really just gouges you when you want to increase the drive capacity. I have the dog. I have a dog for today's video. Hey Sunny, how are you? I had Sunny in a couple of my videos early on, and we got Sunny again. Now, go somewhere and be quiet, Sunny, okay? Alright, there you go. She's a good little poodle. Okay, anyways, back to the MacBook story. So, Mac will really gouge the crap out of you when you want to increase your drive capacity, which is unfortunate because I need that drive capacity for what I'm doing. When you're handling a lot of 4K footage, 1 terabyte goes by in no time. I really need the 1 or 2 or 4 terabyte options, but those are just so expensive. So what I'm actually using right now is the MacBook M1 Pro with a 1 terabyte drive and 16 gigabytes of RAM. Ideally, I'd have more RAM and more storage, but, you know, budgetary limitations. If I wanted to get the storage and RAM that I really need, it would have cost like twice as much for the laptop. So that's what you deal with a lot when you're dealing with Mac. And the storage and RAM is not upgradable, so they really got you by the balls with the pricing, which is unfortunate because this is genuinely an amazing product. When I'm editing my video files, I can edit so much faster on my Mac than I can on a PC because it's got like really streamlined computer architecture for handling video editing tasks. So I can just be scrubbing through video like zipping around at lightning speed, and it's always loading the audio and video when I need it to, versus whenever I use a PC. I actually bought a PC for the purpose of doing video editing on it. I got a Lenovo laptop, and it has a good graphics card, good CPU, tons of storage, tons of RAM, but it edits like at a quarter the speed of my MacBook because it's just not as good at video encoding. So MacBook have the secret sauce for like really high productivity editing workflows. If you're dealing with 4K video, like it's insane how much more productive I was as soon as I got this MacBook. I bought mine, I think around 2 years ago at this point. It's still going strong, knock on MacBook here. But yeah, really amazing products. It's just the pricing and the business model is really frustrating sometimes. There are cheaper options here. I think these MacBook Airs would probably be just as good at video editing. The Pro models give you a lot of nice quality of life features, like additional ports. You've got enough Thunderbolt ports to power a bunch of SSDs, charge, and all that kind of stuff. It's got a headphone jack, which I think the lower models also have the headphone jack and 2 USB ports. So still decent connectivity options. But on this one, you get an additional USB port on the opposite side or the right-hand side of the laptop, which comes in handy. Also, it comes with a high-speed SD card reader, which is super useful. I'm going to talk about SD cards in a minute here. Having a high-speed SD card reader is super important when you're dealing with large files. If you just get the cheap basic SD card reader, like what comes with a lot of 3D printers, the file transfer speed on those is really slow. With this, I can drag and drop my 4K files, and it only takes like 20 minutes max to download download a bunch of video. But if I was trying to do the same thing on a low-speed SD card reader, it could take like 3 to 4 hours. So having that increased speed is just really useful for high-speed workflows. Also, these Thunderbolt 4 ports are amazing for dealing with high-speed SSDs. I can drag and drop massive quantities of 4K footage, and it takes like a minute to download 20 gigabytes of storage. I'm not sure what the exact speeds and numbers are, but it's like a serious increase compared to just a typical USB-C port that doesn't have high data transfer speeds. Also, this thing has an amazing display, a really good microphone, really high quality speakers. So this thing is just a productivity beast. It lets me do my video editing on a train or a plane or wherever I happen to be. Coffee shop. It's just really great. So what I would actually recommend if you were on a budget, probably go down and find one of the cheaper options. This is the MacBook Pro. If we look at, like, let's say an older model, and they make this in a 14 and a 16-inch model, I really like the 16-inch model. It's kind of heavy to carry around, but having that extra display size, and it's a really high resolution, high quality display, is totally worth it for me. So let's take a look at this. This is actually my exact laptop. I paid closer to MSRP for this. But since this is a 2-year-old design now, you can get it for a lot cheaper. MacBook was the best investment I've ever made in my YouTube channel. It lets me be so much more productive. And you can get a MacBook Air. I mean, I'm tempted to buy one of these, but I don't have the money for it right now. But if I did, I would have like a MacBook Air for taking with me when I travel. These are incredibly light, and they're just as capable in terms of computing as the MacBook Pro. They're just missing some of the features that are kind of convenient for me to use. Like if you look here, you can see we've got the MagSafe port, 2 USB-C ports, and a microphone jack. So you're missing a couple of the ports that you get on the Pro model. The other thing about these is they're incredibly quiet. Like I'm recording my screen and doing this video right now, and the fans on this thing rarely ever make any noise. Like the fans are on right now, but you really can't hear them unless you really listen, and even then it's not bad. Compare that to my Lenovo gaming laptop. As soon as I open up my video workflow, it's like, shh. It just gets crazy. So I can't say enough good things about Apple. I doubt they'll ever sponsor my channel, but they're very good products. Again, you definitely want to make sure you're getting enough storage and RAM for the laptop that you decide to get, because when you run out of storage or you run out of RAM, your system can really slow down. Get a little overhead, it's going to cost you. That's just part of being in the Mac ecosystem. Alright, and I said I was going to talk about SD cards, so here we are. These are the SD cards that I use in my camera. 1 terabyte of storage in this little SD card. And these are high-speed SD cards, so I can record high frame rate video to it. And it's really fast to be able to download the footage off of the camera onto my computer. So having that high-speed read and write speed is super important for these SD cards. I've been using a lot of Sabrent products. They offer excellent value, and from what I've read, they're one of the more reliable storage options on the market. Like, they're pretty high quality, despite being a very low price. So you might see this and think, oh man, $180 for an SD card. But having this 1 terabyte of storage on this high-speed media is incredibly useful for me. I get the most out of these SD cards, and they're totally worth it. If you don't have as much storage requirements, you can get a cheaper, 128 gigabyte SD card for $30. But, I mean, this is the deal. You get this massive SD card that you never have to worry about storage space. I still reformat them every once in a while to make sure they're all cleared up. But when I'm out on a shoot, I never have to worry about running out of space, and that's really, really useful. I actually have 2 of these loaded up in my camera. That's one of the really nice things about this Sony a7 IV, is you've got 2 card slots, so you can record to both of them at the same time to have a redundant backup, or you can record to them separately and get that full 2 terabytes of storage, which is just absolutely crazy how much video you can film with that. Alright, next up, if you're filming a lot of 4K, you're going to need a lot of storage. So I use these Samsung T7 drives. I've had no issues with them. They're nice and durable and reliable. And they have high read and write speeds, so when I'm dragging and dropping those massive files, it doesn't take 4 hours to do. It takes 20 minutes to 40 minutes if I'm really moving a ton of footage. So yeah, having these portable SSDs for backing up files, for having redundant backups is just really nice. Alright, now we're getting into some kind of weird stuff. We're talking about sandals. So these are my favorite shoes for the time being. I wear them all the time. They've got these weird soles. If you've never owned or wore a pair of Birkenstocks, it's kind of weird when you first put them on. It feels like they're poking and prodding your feet. But you get used to it, and I feel like it's good for your health somehow. If you need a pair of shoes for wearing around the house or doing errands, these are great. And I won't judge you if you wear socks and sandals. Next up, if you need some high-quality durable boots, we got the Dr. Martens. I just picked up a pair of these last month. I was at Mall of America. They had a good sale on them. So I got them. They're very comfortable. You can wear them for pretty much any occasion. They're becoming quite fashionable nowadays, so you'll see people with good fashion sense wearing these, so it's like, yeah, I'll do that. But it's not all about following trends. They're also very comfortable and very functional. If you're doing work, you can wear boots like this and they'll hold up. Also, when it comes to footwear, if you buy high quality stuff, it'll last longer. So that's my plan with these boots, is to keep them for many years. Alright, we're getting into some more 3D printing related stuff. I find that a pair of high quality calipers is essential for doing any type of 3D modeling, reverse engineering, just measuring and doing modifications on your 3D printer. It's really nice to have really high quality, precise measurements. And Mitutoyo offers some of the best products. You see professional machinists using them, and they're decently affordable. I won't say that these are cheap, like these are not cheap devices, but you got to pay for that quality. And I find that these Mitutoyo are kind of the nicest calipers I've ever owned, and they hold up really well. I've had mine for like 3 years now, and they're still running on the same battery. I actually thought I needed to change the battery once, so I took the battery out and put a new one in, and I was like, oh, did I need to do that? So I got my multimeter out and measured the voltage on the original battery and measured the voltage on the new battery that I just put in there. And the original battery had more voltage left in it, despite being used for like 3 years. So I don't even know if these use electricity. I think the battery's just in there for show, but yeah, it's probably powered by witchcraft. Next up is a multi-tool. Personally, I don't use something like this, but I think it could be useful to some people, so, you know, multi-tool could be handy. I guess this thing is missing a hex wrench, so, you know, having one of those hex wrenches on there would probably be more useful than all these other random tools. So I don't know if I'd recommend this one in particular, but if you find one in here that has the type of tools that you like, then it could be a good buy for you. Next up is Knipex tools. I really like these things. These are, they call them Cobra water pipe pliers or water pump pliers. These darker ones, the black pair of pliers there. They're extremely high quality, they're extremely durable, they're just super versatile, and I use them to pull things apart all the time. Also, these aluminum ones on the right, these are basically a modern interpretation of a crescent wrench. So you can undo any size hex bolt. It's just really easy to work with these. I find uses for them all the time on my 3D printers. And just random stuff around the house. If you can only have one pair of pliers, I would definitely get myself some Knipex. Now, they're not exactly cheap, but you might be able to find them on sale. Or instead of buying this gift set that comes with 2 of them, just buy the one that you need. They're a great investment because those tools will last for a long time. And next up, we have some torque wrenches. So any kind of safety critical thing, like let's say you have a bicycle, I find it's better to use a torque wrench so that you're not over tightening and crushing things. And at the same time, you're not under tightening things where they would come loose over time. So having a nice torque wrench like this is handy. If you don't know how these work, basically you can set them to a certain torque setting and then you go to tighten something down and it'll make a little clicking noise once you've reached the correct amount of torque. Now, I might opt for a digital version of these, but having a mechanical one like this I think is nicer just because it can't run out of batteries. Also, this one comes with a lot of typical sizes that you'll see on 3D printers. So if you want to use the correct torque settings, you can do that with this. Repeatable assembly and disassembly is really important for some applications. I don't know if 3D printing is one of those applications, but I think it is. You don't want to be over-tightening things and stripping out threads. This kit is really nice because it's small and lightweight, and you can just pack it away in your toolbox. When it comes to soldering irons, I myself use a Hakko soldering iron. But if I was buying a soldering iron today, I would probably get one of these TS101 soldering irons. These are extremely popular. I think the TS100 is the one that I'm familiar with, but this is, I guess, an upgraded version. But they're pretty affordable. They're extremely small, so if you want to throw this in a backpack and fix some electronics on the go, this is great for you. I guess this runs off of battery power, so you can just plug it into any power source and get soldering. And it comes with this little power brick so you can run it off wall power if you need to. But yeah, I've heard of a lot of people being happy with these, so I could easily recommend it. I just don't have a need for one right now. That's the only reason I don't have one. And if you're in the kitchen, you're going to need some high quality cookware. I like these cast iron skillets. Lodge makes some pretty good ones and they're not too expensive. Just having cast iron skillets for everything I find is very nice. I don't really like non-stick coatings. You know, people complain about having a PTFE lined hot end. Well, why are you using a PTFE lined pan to cook your food? You know, get some of this cast iron and you won't regret it. They're very non-stick by nature as long as you take care of them. And let's say you don't take care of them and they become kind of degraded, you can re-season them. Just look it up on YouTube. You'll be able to figure it out. Next up, we have the Stobe cast iron Dutch oven. I have one of these and I use it all the time. I really like cast iron because it distributes the heat really evenly when you're cooking, so you don't have hot spots that can cause things to burn. So this gives you the best chance of not burning your stuff while also being able to heat it up quickly. These are just really high quality pots and pans. Right now, the sales aren't super hot. When I bought mine a couple years ago, it was $99. So enameled cast iron is one of those things that you just have to look out for the deals. Occasionally they'll go on super sale. Right now the deals aren't super great, despite it being Black Friday, but maybe later in the season there'll be some good deals on them, so keep an eye out there. Also, if you do cooking, having a bunch of these little stackable glass bowls is really nice. I got a set of these and they're super useful. Mine are a different brand, but this one's pretty highly rated on Amazon, so, you know, if you know someone that cooks, this could be a good Christmas gift for them. Hint, hint. But yeah, it's really fun. You can put all the ingredients in little bowls and dump them in there like you're on the cooking channel. These big ones are big enough to put salads in and do food processing and all sorts of stuff. These are really fun, and when you put them away, you can just stack them like this so they take up no space in your kitchen. Alright, and next up is the Breville Barista Pro Espresso Machine. I actually have one of these and I really enjoy it. I think you'll find that a lot of 3D printing YouTubers are actually into espresso. I've had long conversations with this with JJ Schenkels on our podcast, and yeah, we both enjoy espresso. It's just nice to have. Nowadays, I use mine mostly for tea, but just having that hot water on tap and being able to make a cup of tea really easily is really nice. And if I want to make some espresso, I can. This is the model I have. It's been rock solid for 3 years. It's got a built-in grinder, so you can make your espresso grinds right there and get really fresh coffee grinds. It just makes everything taste better. There's also the more advanced model that costs a little bit more. This one has an automated foaming function versus the one that I have is like a very manual process for frothing the milk. But there's a ton of functions on these machines and they're super fun to get into. I think it's just kind of fun. We're getting into air quality. So I have these Levoit air purifiers set up all over the place. I have a couple in my house, a couple in my office. They're just great for removing the dust and pollen in the air. So if you have allergies, they're great. It also gets rid of like the little plastic fibers from polyester clothing and stuff that gets in the air. It sucks that out of the air and just gives you higher air quality. And if you're 3D printing stuff, it's got a built-in carbon filter, so it'll remove some of that 3D printing smell. Now, when it comes to the conversation about 3D printing safety and air quality, I always recommend opening a window and ventilating that crap out of the office. It can't be good for you. But in addition to adequate ventilation, also having some air filtration running can't hurt, so having one of these is really nice. Alright, next up, related to air quality, is a respirator. If you're doing something that's creating smoke or fumes, having something like this is really nice, just so you don't have to breathe that stuff in. The way these respirators work is you buy the centerpiece. They'll sometimes come with these pods on the sides, but you can buy various different pods for different needs. I have some really high quality filters that I put on mine that filter out basically everything. They're the type of filters that you would use in the kind of hazmat situations. I wore it when I was dealing with resin printing. If I ever accidentally burn something in my office, I'll throw my respirator on. It's just good to have. Also, you can get the full face mask version. Now these double as eye protection. So if you're dealing with something with like sparks or chips flying off, and you're also dealing with fumes and all that kind of stuff, you can throw this on and be pretty well protected. This is like the modern day knight's helmet, or at least for me it is. These are really cool. Just having one available can't hurt. Safety is very important, and having the right equipment is a big part of the equation to how safe you are. Also, if there's someone in your life that you want to take care of and you want to get them a nice gift, why not get them a car? Or in this case, a G-Wagon. Everybody needs a G-Wagon, right? I can't afford one, but they look nice. And if you have a little bit more money to spend, why not buy someone a house? You know, this nice little 1,000 square foot house, it can be yours for $285,000 plus a realtor fee. That's a deal. We got nice hardwood flooring. You can tell they put a little work into cleaning this thing up. They put new drapes up. There's an air conditioner. Nice wood paneling on all the shelves. I mean, why not buy someone a house for Christmas? That would be great. Alright, and I want to get into some stuff to feed your mind. You can get someone a book. I don't read too often, but I think books are a good gift, and if there's something that you're interested in, you can just go ahead and buy it and use it to learn a new skill or learn about a topic. I'm kind of interested in baking bread, so I think I'm going to get a bread baking book. If you want to learn how to 3D printing failure, you can get this book from Sean Aranda, who is no longer on YouTube, which is kind of a tragedy. That's 3D Print General. You know, I made a video covering that a while ago. But, you know, why not support Sean Aranda and get yourself a 3D Printing Failures 2020 edition book? And if you're like me and you're too lazy to read, you can get an audiobook from Audible. I'll leave a link in the description below. I think Audible is really nice if you have like a long commute. I used to have an hour commute one way to work and one way back, so I spent 2 hours in the car, and having a book to listen to was just really nice. It could be a good gift to someone as well. If you know someone that would like to read more but doesn't have the time, why not gift them an Audible subscription? Alright, and the last thing I want to talk about is YouTube Premium. Why not get YouTube Premium so that you no longer have to watch ads on my channel? Ads are an important part of most YouTubers' income. Unfortunately, they're on for most people, including my channel. But if you have YouTube Premium, you don't have to watch the ads. Part of that subscription fee goes to the content creators that you watch. And it also comes with YouTube Music, so you can listen to music as well. Alright, well, that's all I have for you today for Nathan's favorite things. Stay tuned for next episode. It'll probably be in a year from now, where I just go over the same thing. And consider this a holiday gift guide for non-3D printing related things. There's a lot of great stuff in here, and most of the things that I listed I use every day. I mean, that's the highest recommendation I can give. Alright, so thanks for watching to the end. You guys are awesome. Happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Make sure to subscribe and click all the links in the description. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.